Imagine a dog standing its ground in front of a 400-pound lion, not running, not barking from a safe distance, holding the lion's gaze, eye to eye, dancing just out of reach of claws that can disembowel a buffalo. Humans built a dog to do exactly that. And then humans almost erased it from the planet on purpose. The dog is called the Rhodesian Ridgeback, and it was never bred to kill a lion. Think about that for a second, because it is the whole secret. A dog cannot kill a lion. No dog can. So the humans who created this breed asked a stranger question: could you build a dog brave enough to corner one and survive? The job was insane. A pack of these dogs would find a lion, surround it, and harass it, darting in, snapping, retreating, never quite close enough to die. They would keep the lion pinned in place, spinning and roaring and exhausted, sometimes for an hour, until the human hunters caught up on horseback. The dogs were the trap, the men were the trigger. Now run your hand down this dog's spine, and you will feel something that exists in almost no other breed on earth: a ridge. A strip of hair, often as wide as your palm, that grows in the wrong direction. It points forward toward the head against the lay of the rest of the coat. This is not decoration. It is a fingerprint of where this dog came from. Long before European settlers ever reached southern Africa, the Khoikhoi people kept a half-wild hunting dog with exactly this reversed ridge of hair down its spine. When colonists arrived and bred their European hounds into those native African dogs, the ridge survived. It became the visible signature of the lion dog, a genetic stamp saying this animal carries the blood of a true African hunter. To build the perfect lion dog, the recipe got brutal and specific. Settlers in the rugged South African veld needed an animal that could do everything at once: run all day and kill in heat, survive on almost no water, ignore the bite of ticks and tsetse flies, guard the homestead at night, and then, on command, walk straight toward the most dangerous predator on the continent without hesitating. So they crossed Great Danes, Mastiffs, Greyhounds, Bloodhounds, and old colonial hounds into that ridged African base. Speed from the sight hounds, nose from the bloodhounds, power and nerve from the Mastiffs. And from the African dog, the one thing money cannot breed into an animal: the raw, almost unnatural courage to face a lion and not break. By the time they were done, they had something close to a perfect weapon with a heartbeat. Picture the real moment now, not a painting, the actual thing. A lion has been cornered against a thicket. 5 of these dogs are fanned out in a half circle, low and coiled. The lion charges one. That dog is already gone before the paw lands, and a second dog nips the lion's flank from behind. The lion spins too slow. A third dog is already at the other side. This is where the breed earned its legend. The good ones never panicked. They read the lion's weight shift, its breathing, the twitch before a strike, and they were always one beat ahead. A single mistake meant death. There was no second chance with a lion. And these dogs did it again and again and again for generations, until lion dog was simply what everyone called them. So here is the question that makes this story unforgettable. If you engineer the bravest dog that has ever existed, who would ever want it gone? The answer is the men who made it. The breed was never large in number. These were working dogs scattered across remote frontier farms, not a polished show breed with thousands of registered animals. And as the era of the great lion hunts faded, the dogs that defined it started to vanish with them. At its lowest point, the entire lineage of true lion dogs had narrowed to a frighteningly small pool of breeding animals. A single bad decision, a single ban, a single change of fashion, and they could have been gone forever. And the bans came in parts of their own homeland and later in cities and countries far away. These dogs were branded too powerful, too dangerous, too much. Legislation was drawn up that would have made owning them illegal. The most fearless dog ever created, the one that stared down Africa's apex predator and won, was nearly deleted not by a lion's claws, but by paperwork, by human fear of the very courage we had spent a century breeding into it. The breed survived for one reason: a handful of people refused to let it die. In 1922, a small group of breeders in Rhodesia gathered the best surviving dogs they could find, sat down and wrote a single written standard to define the breed and lock in its identity before it slipped away. They drew a line in the dust and said, "This animal will not vanish on our watch." That one act pulled the lion dog back from the edge. From that tiny salvage pool, the breed spread across the world today. It lives in living rooms on every continent, lounging on couches, chasing tennis balls, sleeping at the foot of children's beds. The descendant of a lion cornering warhound, asking you to scratch its belly. But the courage did not leave. It is still in there. It is still in the ridge. The Rhodesian Ridgeback is a paradox you can pet, a dog built to face death without flinching. that we then nearly killed for being exactly what we asked it to be. It outlasted the lions. It outlasted the hunts. It even outlasted the men who tried to legislate it out of existence. Every Ridgeback alive today is descended from that razor-thin handful of survivors. Living proof that the bravest dog ever made was also one of the luckiest. If a dog that stared down a lion and survived a near-extinction order just earned a little of your respect. Do the brave thing, hit subscribe, and stay with us for more, because the wildest stories on earth have been sleeping at our feet the whole time.